It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day. Won't you be my neighbor? You know, here's the thing. I was going to say about capitalism, but I don't think it's capitalism. It's whatever our current political economic theory is based on, and that is this. It was originally taken by violence. Everything that we own was taken by violence, either by taken from the American Indian or taken from the Mexicans, or in some cases, large industrialists took it from their laborers who they paid very poorly, and if there was any problem with the people didn't like what they were getting paid, well, they just brought in more immigrants, and they had to buy all their supplies at the company store, so they never got out of debt. Okay, so there's that. Now, then you go over to England, and everything in England was taken by the conqueror, Norman the Conqueror, William the Conqueror, William the Norman, whatever. So, and before him, the Danes came and took it from the Saxons, I guess, and the Picts and the Brits. Okay, the Britons. Well, so at some point, everything was taken by somebody else. And then a date was agreed upon, after which, okay, we ain't taking no more taking by violence after this date. So if your great grandpa ran the Nez Perce off the land in Wyoming, then he got to keep it. And then it was decided that you can't take it from him by violence. He took it by violence. You can't take it from him by violence. Now, where's the morality in deciding on that on September 15th, 1889, from that date forward, you will not be able to take things by violence anymore. It's the end. That's it. You know, everybody had their fair grab in the pork barrel. Now, they didn't. Not everybody did have a fair grab in the pork barrel, because maybe your daddy got himself a ranch by running the Nez Perce off, but maybe my great granddaddy got wounded in the fight with the Nez Perce, and he couldn't operate a ranch, so he took some crappy little job in Cody, Wyoming, repairing boots and hats. And so now here I am, his great grandson, and I've got some minimum wage job at Starbucks, and there's the guy who's his great granddaddy got the land, and so he drives a great big F-150 or F-1050 Ford pickup around and lords it over me, you know, or where the hell's my coffee? So, is it fair to say that our economic system, not just capitalism, but no, it's not fair to say this about capitalism. It's about our political economic system, originated in violence, and then we decided on a certain date that there wouldn't be any more violence after that. Everybody who had, you know, those who had got more, those who didn't got less. Jesus says something just exactly like that. So, you know, it's in the scriptures. It's in the scriptures. All right. Well, you know, if that goes unmitigated, if that goes unaddressed, untaken care of, then at some point, all of us descendants of cobblers and hat repairmen, we have to revolt. By God, you know, it's time to get our share by violence. So that ain't good. So we don't want revolution, but on the other hand, we don't want to just like take the land away from the rancher, because we want him to build ponds and develop the grassland and improve the place. We want him to improve it to a point where he leaves something to his kids. So we need something in between him just saying, hey, screw you, pull up the ladder because I'm aboard. That ain't going to work, because that will lead to revolution. Well, I want to suggest that inheritance taxes is actually a pretty equitable way to address the basic premise of our system, which was it was all taken by violence, and then at some date we said, no more violence after that. Well, so we have what you could call controlled violence, where the state says, okay, you can keep the first $5 million of value that you have put into your ranch, but any value above that, we're going to tax, and we're going to give it to the kid working at Starbucks. Now, we don't just give it to him, but what we do is we fund universities, we build roads so the kid at Starbucks can get places. I mean, he ain't got a Ford F-1050 to drive over any goddamn thing gets in his way. He needs good roads, and he needs medical care, and he needs education for his kids. So your taxes, after you get your first $5,000 bite out of improving the land, ought to make life livable for those who, by every moral rule that I can think of, ought to have the right to come out and take the land away from you by violence.